Rome had a problem. Julius Caesar had become very successful. Too successful. He had defeated his enemies, won numerous battles, become wildly popular with the people, and now many Romans were beginning to worry that he might do the unthinkable, become king. Which was awkward, because Romans absolutely hated kings, so naturally, they decided the solution was murder. Julius Caesar was born in 100 BC. His family was noble, but not particularly important. Rome at the time was a republic, meaning no kings. Instead, politicians spent most of their time arguing with one another, a tradition that has survived remarkably well. Caesar quickly learned that if he wanted power, he needed supporters, and lots of them. Fortunately, Caesar was charismatic. Unfortunately, he was also broke, so he borrowed enormous amounts of money and spent it on public events, games, festivals, political campaigns, basically anything that made people like him. It worked. Soon Caesar became one of Rome's rising political stars. To gain even more influence, Caesar teamed up with two powerful Romans, Pompey, a successful general, and Crassus, a man whose main achievement was being unbelievably rich. Together, they formed an informal alliance. Historians call it the First Triumvirate. Everyone else called it a problem. Caesar then received command in Gaul, an area covering much of modern France. There he spent nearly a decade fighting wars and winning them, again and again and again. With every victory, his fame grew. His army loved him. His enemies did not. Back in Rome, politicians were becoming concerned. Caesar now had wealth, popularity, a loyal army, and ambition, which, when combined together, tends to make governments nervous, especially if that government is standing directly in your way. In 49 BC, Rome ordered Caesar to give up command of his army. Caesar had two choices: obey or not obey. He chose the second option. He crossed a small river called the Rubicon, bringing his army with him. This was illegal, and also the beginning of a civil war. The war did not go well for Caesar's enemies. Caesar defeated them one by one. Pompey fled. Others surrendered. Eventually, Caesar stood alone at the top. Rome now had one dominant ruler, and many Romans were becoming increasingly uncomfortable with that fact. Caesar introduced reforms, improved administration, expanded citizenship, and reorganized parts of government. But then came the title that changed everything: dictator for life. To Caesar's supporters, this was practical. To his opponents, it sounded suspiciously king-like, and Romans had spent centuries telling themselves they would never be ruled by a king again. A group of senators decided Caesar had become too powerful. Among them was Marcus Brutus, a man Caesar trusted. The conspirators convinced themselves they were saving the Republic, so they began planning, and planning, and planning. Because organizing a political assassination apparently requires a lot of meetings. On the 15th of March, 44 BC, the Ides of March, Caesar arrived at the Senate. The conspirators surrounded him, then attacked. Within minutes, Julius Caesar was dead. The most powerful man in Rome had been killed by members of his own government, which was certainly one way of handling political disagreements. The conspirators expected to be hailed as heroes. Instead, Rome erupted into chaos. The public was furious. More civil wars followed, and eventually, Caesar's adopted heir, Octavian, emerged victorious. Octavian would become Augustus, the first Roman emperor, meaning the men who killed Caesar to save the Republic achieved the exact opposite. The Republic disappeared. The Empire began, and Julius Caesar became one of the most famous figures in human history. Not bad for someone whose enemies thought they had solved the problem.